This is random, huh? In 2015, the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water was released in theaters. The main selling point for this movie was SpongeBob and his friends going up to the surface. I was just excited that Steven Hillenburg and a few others that worked on the earlier seasons returned to work on this movie. Sponge Out of Water was released on February 6, having a budget of around $60 to $74 million and grossing an impressive $325 million. Now, the reception for this movie was mixed, and I'll admit that when I first saw this movie in 2015, I was slightly disappointed. However, that was over 8 years ago. Yes, I repeat, 8 years ago. For some reason, I was in the mood to watch this movie again. Is this movie an underrated banger even though I already spoiled the answer in the title? Let's find out together. Without further ado, let's see what SpongeBob's talking about. So the movie opens up with Burger Beard, played by Antonio Banderas, looking for a book. After getting fucked up by a skeleton, I made a typo in the script. I accidentally said getting fucked by a skeleton instead of fucked up by a skeleton, so good job. Burger Beard begins to read. In Bikini Bottom, Plankton attempts to steal the secret formula once again. The first few minutes of this movie is just like a war film, but instead of using bullets, they're using condiments. Not gonna lie, this opening segment is fun to watch. After Plankton's robot breaks down, he gives Mr. Krabs his last penny. Little did Mr. Krabs know, it was part of Plankton's plan. Plankton manages to acquire the formula, only for SpongeBob to catch him moments later. After a few seconds of struggling, the formula disappears out of nowhere. A few minutes later, SpongeBob and Plankton leave to find the formula, and literally seconds later, Bikini Bottom goes into panic. They try to gain more teammates, but it doesn't work out. So Plankton and SpongeBob get the idea to make a time machine. The time machine is built, and they start their travel. A few failed attempts later, they finally make it to the moment before the formula disappeared. They grab the bottle and make it back to the present. Forgot to mention, Burger Beard was messing with the story the whole time, and he's the one that stole the formula. On the surface, Burger Beard opens up his own restaurant selling Krabby Patties. Back to SpongeBob and Plankton, they grab their own bottle, and SpongeBob is willing to sacrifice himself. Bro, what the fuck am I doing? During the sacrifice, SpongeBob smells Krabby Patties. Later, Mr. Krabs smells it too. Everyone follows SpongeBob up until they make it to the surface. This is until they run into a dolphin named Bubbles, a character SpongeBob and Plankton ran into while time traveling. He grants them the power to breathe on land, and almost an hour into the movie, SpongeBob and his friends finally go above the surface. A few shenanigans later, SpongeBob and the game make it to Burger Beard, and he quickly takes care of him. After Sandy pulls out the page of the book, SpongeBob gets the idea to rewrite the story, and now they're superheroes. They start their chase against Burger Beard to get the formula back. Burger Beard's gone, and everything's back to normal. Why does this movie end with a fucking rap battle? One thing I would knock this movie for is the plot. There is a clear end goal in mind, get the formula back, but there is so much going on in this movie. At first, it's a Plankton and SpongeBob movie. Then it's a time travel movie. Then it's a movie about SpongeBob and his friends going up to the surface. And it's so much shit. But I would be lying if I said I didn't have a little fun while watching. I love Sponge Out of Water's energy. It's constantly throwing jokes at you without feeling too overwhelming. Antonio Banderas as Burger Beard was just okay, but the seagulls who follow him are fucking annoying. Except for the part where the seagull shits off the ship. For the majority of the movie, it's SpongeBob and Plankton, and I feel like they work well with each other. I know why the movie was marketed the way it was, even though it's sort of falsely advertised, but I gotta admit that I was more entertained with the hand-drawn segments, way more than the live-action segments. One of my favorite scenes is when SpongeBob and Plankton were time traveling. The visuals are insanely creative, and the original song, Squeeze Me, is so damn catchy. The hand-drawn segments are well animated, having some nice looking squash and stretch and exaggeration. Like how as soon as the formula is gone, in a matter of seconds, Bikini Bottom goes into his apocalyptic phase. After rewatching it, I do think the hand-drawn stuff is more entertaining, but that doesn't mean that I didn't have a little fun watching some of the live action stuff. The Burger Beard chase sequence is pretty fun to watch, and the writing here is funny as well. I understand this movie was trying to be like with the times or whatever, but this rap battle ending is dated as fuck. I thought the shit was corny as fuck when I first saw it, and I still think it is. Sponge Out of Water is widely entertaining. The movie is non-stop laughs with great visuals. I enjoyed the underwater stuff a lot more than I expected. I had so much fun with the Burger Beard chase. The movie isn't perfect though. The plot is all over the place and can be a turn off to newcomers. However, there is a lot to enjoy with this movie. I recommend Sponge Out of Water. It's a fun SpongeBob flick that was way better on my second viewing.